and welcome to episode 82 of the Stress It's podcast. My name is Stacy, also known as Stress It's Yarn on Instagram and Stress It's on Ravelry. It is a beautiful, sunny, warm day in Metro Detroit. It's Saturday, April 6, 2019. This is the fifth time I'm recording this. Last time was going really great and I was almost done, but my camera just kind of kicked off. It was really weird. I don't know what happened. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, and then the video wouldn't play. Anyway, so we will just try this again. But hi, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. If you are new, welcome. Hi. It's really great to have you here into my little corner of the internet. If you like this, please like and subscribe. It's always awkward to ask, but honestly, it just gives me more exposure and lets people in our knitting community find me easier, which would be great. Yeah, so, and if you are returning, hi. How are you? Are you doing good? I hope you're doing good. Okay, so, I don't have a lot to share with you this time around. I've really been working on two things. It's almost time for Eliza to wake up for her nap, so we're gonna kind of go through this a little quickly, which is fine every now and then, right? It's great. Also, my hair is down. I don't know what that is. If you're new, my hair is always up, but it's just extra fluffy and doing its own thing today, so I'm just kind of letting it do its thing. We'll see. So, yes, I'm really thrown off. I'm kind of bummed. I really liked the last recording, but it's fine. It's cool. It happens. It's life. But I have been knitting on the Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mowry for my March cast on of my Year of Andrea. And if you're new, the Year of Andrea is my little homage to my favorite designer, and I'm casting on one of her patterns once a month from July of last year to July of this year, so I'm almost done, and honestly, like, it's just been great. I've gotten to knock out a bunch of her patterns that I've wanted to knit for a long time, like the Weekender and Wool and Honey, some of her newer patterns like the Night Shift and the Shift Cowl. I don't remember what else I've knit. The Throwback I got to test knit, which was awesome. The Harlow hat. The Birds of a Feather shawl, which was a saga. You can actually see it a little bit right here. Yeah, so what am I working on? Comfort Fade Cardi. March cast on. I showed it last time. I cast it on right before the end of March, and I just bound off the body today while I was watching Scandal, because sometimes you just have to rewatch a show that you love and have it on in the background and not really pay attention to it, which is what I'm doing. So again, I don't know what my hair's doing. Go with it. Okay, so my bangs, anybody else just hate their bangs? I'm kind of there. Excuse me. Let's just put these bad boys up while I talk about the Comfort Fade Cardi. So it's supposed to be a fitted cardigan, which is not really my thing for longer cardigans. I don't even like fitted cropped cardigans. I like an inch of positive ease if I have a cropped cardigan, just like a little bit in here. Also, the shirt is just so cozy. Anyway, what was I saying? Comfort Fade Cardi. So I'm knitting the size extra large. I went up a size from what was recommended for my bust size, which is about a 44 at the moment. But if you don't know, I was pregnant last year. I gave birth to my baby Eliza in June, which was unexpected and early, but everything's great. But I went through a lot with that in the pregnancy in general. So my body has changed drastically from where I was 2 years ago. 3 years ago. Let's go with 3 years ago. So, yeah. And I am on a little bit of a journey to just be better to myself, and that is making sure my brain and my body are healthy and I feel good. So, like one of the things I'm doing is I'm going to therapy every other week, which has been really great. I had a really great session on Thursday, and it's just helped, which is great. So doing that, but also I got a gym membership, and I'm going as much as I can. Not as much as I would like to be going, but when you have one car and a kid and your husband works a lot, it's just, it's not always easy to get to where you want to go. So yeah, so there's that. And then also I'm trying to eat better, and I'm putting better in quotes because it's more of portion control than anything. I'm not depriving myself of my favorite foods. I'm not, my dog's barking because there's 3 dogs being walked right now. But yeah, so I'm very much into just moderation, which I really lost during my, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I lost my will for moderation, not even will, my ability to understand moderation during pregnancy because I had HG, and if you don't know what that is, it's extreme morning sickness, it's hypermesis, I don't know how to say the G word, so I always just call it HG. It's where you're hospitalized for dehydration. I lost 30 pounds in the first trimester, like it was bad. Throwing up like 20 times a day. It's rough. You can't keep anything down, and once the worst bout of it was over, the only thing I could keep down was water, pasta, and a little bit of coffee. That's it. That's all I could do. I could do like some fruit, some veggies, but like I still can't really look at a watermelon. I can't eat grapes. Apples are still hard to eat because I got sick on everything. So there are plenty of things that I love that I just can't eat anymore because they remind me of getting sick all the time. So when all you're putting into your body is carbs, it's a little difficult, right? It's not great. And as somebody who loves pasta, like if all I could eat for the rest of my life is pasta, I would do it. It's really just learning portion control again. So it's been a journey. It's been great. And really it's not about size, it's not about weight. It's more about feeling like myself again. And so, because my body changed drastically, it just happens. It's fine. It's just kind of how it goes sometimes for pregnancy. And with all of the stuff that I went through on top of it, it was really hard to get my body back, and I don't feel like I'm in control of my body. And so one of those ways that I'm doing that, and this was a suggestion from my therapist, is just really just taking care of my body. So it's really great. Yeah. I don't know why I started talking about that. But I always just feel the need to tell you that as long as you feel good, it doesn't matter what other people think. And it's hard for me to remember that, but it's true. So I'm just working on feeling good, and I'm actually feeling really good about myself lately, and it's been wonderful. So there's that I didn't expect to go into, and I didn't go into the last few times I recorded, but there it is. Yeah, so sometimes I don't I was talking about how I don't know what my bust size is because my body's changing. It just is, and it's fine, which is why I love open front cardigans because they fit everybody, and you can kind of be off on your size, and it doesn't matter. And also, I have boobs. I've always had boobs, so pullovers aren't always, I don't like the way that they look because I don't like bringing attention to this area. It's just my thing. Anyway, yes, so this is the Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mowry. I'm using my hand-dyed yarn, Stress Knits yarn, on my DK base, which is 115 grams, 250 yards in the colorways Birch, I Smell Snow, Grubby, and Prudence. So here it is. I'm picking up for the shawl collar today. I'm really excited about it. So highly recommend this pattern, whether you fade it or just do a single color. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but once I saw these colorways together, I knew they had to be a fade. So there it is. Really excited about it. Yeah, I think this project actually gave me my knitting mojo back. I couldn't put it down. I looked forward to picking it up whenever I had a spare moment. So highly recommend this pattern. The other thing I've been working on is a new cast on. I talked about it last week, but I cast it on. I'm not too far on it, but really this thing is going to fly. So this is Magpie Tendency by Skenanigans, who is Melissa. She has a Skenanigans podcast, and she is a designer. You might know her from her Northeasterly blanket, which was really popular last year during Advent. And yeah, so this is her Magpie Tendency t-shirt. It's a t-shirt, not a t-shirt, but it's a tee construction. Not construction, it's a tee. It's just a tee, Stacy. It's just a tee. It's oversized, it's boxy, which is really, that's my jam. So, allergies are awful. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. So, it has really interesting construction. You knit, not to give too much away, but it's really interesting. But I finally joined in the round. It's a broken garter stitch. It's a very loose gauge. It is a fingering weight yarn on a 10.5 US. I'm using Addi Rockets, which are my favorites. I could wax poetic about these all day. And I know they're not for everybody, but they're my needle of choice. I've tried other needles and I just don't love them as much. My projects don't go as quickly as they do on these. And my projects they're not as enjoyable unless they're on Addi's. So, big fan of those. I'm using my yarn again. It's Stress Knits yarn in the Bell Jar colorway, based off my favorite book. Yeah, so I love it. It's just a really pretty summer top, and I've never been into the summer top thing. I've never been into crop tops. It's not really my thing. But this tee, I just think is so gorgeous. And it's just so lightweight, just putting it on over like a really pretty bralette or a dress or a tank top. I think it would look good anything over anything. So yeah, and also it takes less than 800 yards, I think, for any size if you're doing the tee. And so I only have 2 skeins of yarn for a sweater, which is really exciting, and I think it's a very budget-friendly pattern, which I think is really important, especially if you want to knit it in something super special. You're not going to break the bank, which is really exciting. So again, it's my hand-dyed yarn in Bell Jar. That's actually pretty accurate. It's a very subtle colorway. It's hard to read unless you're in person. It's minty, and then it has some peach, some pink, some purple, some green, some blue. And it's one of my favorites. It's my first repeatable colorway, and so it has a very special place in my heart. So that's Bell Jar. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it except for I love it, and I think you should support Melissa, and I'm excited to have this in my handmade wardrobe. I think it's going to be really cool. I just love the way it looks on her, so I hope it looks like that on me. So we will see. It might be done next time I podcast. I don't know. And that is all I've been working on. I still have my Ronin on the needles. I still have my Vertices Unite. I have been working on my Oslo hat, which is the hat I'm making for my daughter Eliza, but it's purse knitting. I have only made like half an inch of progress. It's nothing to write home about. But yeah, so let's chat a little bit about the sweater that I'm going to cast on once one of these sweaters is off my needles. The Manet sweater. You've heard me talk about it a million times. You probably saw it on the Stranded Dye Works podcast. I love it. It's from Line A magazine. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. If it's not, I'm sorry. It's hard when you read things and you can say it in your head, but it's really hard to say things out loud that you don't know how to pronounce. Anyway, this is a very Amy of Stranded Dye Works and the Stranded podcast inspired project. So, I don't know Amy. I will meet her at SSK. I'm assuming SSK is a Super Summer Knit Together hosted by the Knit Girls, Leslie and Laura. I'm vending this year and I'm really excited about it. It's in July in Nashville, Tennessee, which is going to be awful because I hate the South in the summer. But it's fine. It's fine. I know what I'm signing up for. I'm going to be miserable. Anyway. So I dyed myself a sweater quantity in my new colorway Grubby. So Grubby is just this dirty pink. I don't know why it's showing up like that on here. Let's see if I can get it to look a little more like it does. That's pretty accurate. It's a little darker. It's a little grungier. Yeah, so I just love this colorway. And it's called Grubby based on what Amy calls pinks that look like this. Because I just love Amy. And I love her love for Grubby pink because I also have a love for Grubby pink. So we have Grubby. And yeah, so that will be the Manet sweater. It's on my Aran base, which is 100% superwash merino, 181 yards and 100 grams. I'm really, really excited to knit an Aran weight sweater. I think it's going to go really fast. And it's going to be beautiful. And I'm also going to be trying helical knitting for the first time to alternate my skeins, because you should alternate skeins when you use hand-dyed yarn. Just saying. I think that's one of my favorite things that happens is when a customer or you see somebody on the internet or just literally anybody using hand-dyed yarn and they complain about the differences between two skeins. And as an indie dyer, I understand that you don't want to alternate skeins, and that's a pain in the butt. But even if I dye a bunch of things at the same exact time in the same exact pot, there's no guarantee all of the yarn will have the exact same coverage. There's no way. And that's what makes it fun. I also think that's what we love about it. So I just, please alternate skeins if you use hand-dyed yarn. Just please do it. Not all the speckles are going to be uniform. This is a semi-solid colorway with speckles, and it's not going to have the same coverage in every skein. It's impossible to do that, because no matter how hard I try, there will at least be one skein in the dye lot that's just slightly different. So just alternate skeins. Yes. PSA over. Yeah, so that will be my Manet sweater. I don't know when I'm going to cast it on. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do that or my boxy first. I don't know. I have a lot of driving trips ahead, so We have a trip in May, and it's 9 hours each way to get to the UP. The UP is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We're going, this is it. We're going here. So it's a long drive. But, yeah, so I'll have to figure out what I want to do. Part of me wants to just bring my Ronin and knock it out. My Ronin by Andrea Mowry. It's the best pattern ever. It's exactly what I want in a cardigan, but it's a lot of knitting. So, I don't know. With that, I'm going to move on into Stress Knits shop news, and if you're not interested in that, totally get it. I will see you next week, and if you are interested in it, let's just chat about it. So, Advent calendars are upon us. It's April, I know, but Advent calendars, they take a lot of work and a lot of planning, and I want to have everything ready to go way before December, right? So that you have it in plenty of time. I might need to cough. Okay. So, let's chat about Advent calendars really quickly. So I have 3 options. I have 3 different calendars with 2 separate options each. So you can, in any of the calendars that you pick, you can have either my favorite base, which is my 80/20 superwash merino nylon base, or my sparkle base, which is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. Yes. So you have those 2 base options, and then you have 3 different calendars to choose from. Now, originally, I thought that I was just going to do my full calendar, and then the 2 smaller calendars would be selections from each one of those days, but I think I'm a little crazy, and I decided to do all 3 calendars are different colorways. Now, it's not to say that some won't look similar. Excuse me. It's not to say some won't look similar, but there will be different colorways and everything. So we have the full Advent calendar, which is what everyone's used to. It is 24 mini skeins. My mini skeins are 20 grams. And then a full skein of sock yarn in the same base. And that, yeah, I think it's $170, which I know is pricey. I know, but it's a lot of yarn and it's a lot of work. So it's a price that I feel really comfortable with. Yeah. So I know it's expensive, and I know that I can barely afford that. So yeah, because I know people have bills. Bills are real, and we can't just buy all the yarn that we want, and I understand that. So I wanted people who can't just go for it and do the full thing to have an option to celebrate Advent if they choose to, and to feel like, I don't know, to feel a part of the group, which is stupid, but I know the first year that I didn't have an Advent calendar, I kind of felt left out, but also I knew I couldn't afford one, and nobody really had smaller options, and I know a few dyers last year did this, and I'm just all for it. I think it's a really smart idea. So I am having the 12 days. Yeah, it's just called the 12 days. And so you will get 12 mini skeins, and that is, I think, $60. The sparkle base is a little more money because the sparkle base that I dye on is more expensive than my favorite base. So there is a little bit of difference, but not too much. But yeah, so I think that's $60. And then you will have, there's also the week of celebration. So that is 7 skeins that's just 7 mini skeins. And I think that's $40. 40, 45, somewhere in there. It's under 50. So hopefully, if you are wanting an advent calendar and you cannot justify the full advent calendar for anybody, or you just don't want to commit to a full advent calendar, which I also totally get, but you still want the fun of advent calendars, you have options, and I really hope that helps. I hope that helps people. Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. This round of pre-orders, because it is a pre-order, it's a lot of work. Each skein will be individually wrapped and labeled this year. They were not labeled last year. I had a plan in my head, but it just didn't go as I wanted it to. So, and I also forgot to dye myself a calendar last year. But everything will be individually labeled, and as always, individually wrapped. And my wrapping is going to be a little different this year too, which I'm really excited about. So I hope you're excited. I'm really excited. And people always ask what to expect when it comes to advent calendars. If you like a dyer's aesthetic, if you like the way their yarn looks, you will like their advent calendar usually. I won't say that for everybody because I don't know, but any dyer that I follow that does an advent calendar, all of their advents look like their yarn. So if you like my aesthetic, then you will like my advent calendar. The only advent calendar I've ever had is Julie of Sweet Sparrow, which I think there's some still in her Etsy shop. If you don't want mine, you should go get hers. Big fan of hers. It's perfect. It looks exactly like Julie, I know my friend Jacqueline always gets Knox yarn, and that looks just like Knox Yarn Company. I think I might want to buy one this year. I don't know. It's always just really hard for me to pull that trigger and buy something so lavish and luxurious, I guess. I just can never bring myself to do that, but I really kind of want the cat sandwich one this year, or one of hers. I'm thinking about it. So we'll see. But yeah, so everything's going to be individually wrapped. Doug is really excited this year because he wants to dabble in some stitch marker making. So those will be in there. And I'm also going to have him make something special for each advent calendar. So those will be in there. Yeah, so those are on the website. This round will close in about a week. Next Monday will be the last day to sign up for this round, and the second round will go up June 1st. I'm really excited about it. Thank you to everyone who has already ordered one. Yeah, I'm really excited about this year. I already have some stuff planned. I'm really excited to start dyeing for it. So there's that. But please pick the correct shipping. I know it's really awkward to say, but it costs more to ship the equivalent of 6 skeins of yarn than it does to ship 1 skein of yarn. So it's more expensive, there's more packaging involved, it's more intense. So shipping is what it is. It covers the cost of shipping your stuff. That's it. Okay? I don't make profit off of shipping, it just is what it is. So yeah, there is that. What else? So there's nothing else in the shop right now, but after the advents go down, there will be a few things in the shop, including my mixtape minis, which were requested again. These sold out super fast last time, so I dyed up some more. So there will be a few sets of these. So you have Ophelia, No Trail to Follow, Smitten, Sweet Disposition, and below my feet. This is my mixtape collection. I am working on writing a blog post explaining my mixtape collection, so stay tuned for that. Really, I love this collection. So that'll be up in the shop. West Wing Yarn Club, your yarn is shipping Monday. I just need to take some pictures of it. I am super excited about April. It's gorgeous. I'm staring at it right now. I have my giant basket full of it. I'm so excited about this color. And like I said, so West Wing is a very dark show visually. So that's not really my thing. I love pastels. I love muted colors. So expect that with a West Wing twist. So really, really excited about that. The next West Wing Yarn Club, which has a super fun inspiration. It's more of a set piece than anything that I love. And I've had a few requests for, so that's happening. That will go up in the next week or two. Check if you are interested in any of my yarn. I would follow my Instagram account. That is where you will find all of the information. Yeah, and then I have a few skeins of Grubby on Favorite and Squishy. Excuse me, I have hiccups. And Squishy. And Squishy is my Merino Cashmere Nylon base. I haven't had it for a while, but I brought it back. So that's exciting. And then, as always, I will have my What the Fade kits, which are 6 skeins. And you can get it in my Squishy base, my favorite base. Not my favorite base. My Squishy, single, or sparkle bases. Yeah, and that is what I made my What the Fade in. It's my favorite shawl. Yeah, so those are always up for pre-order. And I think that's it. So, yeah, head on over to the shop if you want an advent calendar. Really excited for them this year, guys. Really excited. So I will chat with you next week, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye!